RANE has continuously been investing in the core intelligence product. A recent change is to make it more apparent that the core intelligence lives within the risk intelligence platform, along with our other product offerings. You now have visibility into that full coverage, the full suite of product solutions that RANE offers, so that you can choose the pathway that resonates most with your focus areas and your jobs to be done. So we do have visibility into our deeper dive geopolitical and threat intelligence solutions. We can explore by topic, including compliance and cyber, these risk categories aligning with the four main risks that RANE covers as a company. And then we continue to have the ability to explore by certain features, content types. And what we'll come back to, which is a new enhancement, is the ability to further customize your experience, specifically the ability to create preferences. If we go back to the home page, just to reemphasize the power of the connected risk tool, this gives us visibility into all content that we have published over the last week as a prompt, an orientation into the key topics and countries that are dominating our holistic coverage across all of these four categories. Whatever we click on within the connected risks will take us to unified search. This will give you full archives, visibility into what we've written, but also many different levers, different filters and tools so you can hone in and shortcut to what it is you're looking for to support your job to be done. You see here, using the United States as an example, we can filter by risk types. So if we wanted to look at content related to the United States, but really focusing on our geopolitical coverage, we could do so. We could also further filter by content type, whether it's the proprietary analysis that RANE's own analyst team is producing each day, our forecasts, including our decade, annual, quarterly forecasts, but also key forecast questions, verified open source intelligence, which you will have full access to, are also events. Events being the likes of podcasts or webcasts that we're doing with our analysts or experts within our expert network. You have the ability to choose whether you're looking for situational awareness or you're doing some deeper dive research. Also, to support research, what is new is this date range selector. If we wanted to look at geopolitical coverage in the United States over the last quarter compared to the last year, you have the ability to customize that. It's also worth noting a new enhancement is the Smart Tool Report. So this is a tool that is supported by AI, but out of all of our content, and it'll be based on the filters that you have in place, this will give you a summary of recent coverage, offering you a quick take so that you can quickly gain context. You can even export this, put it into your own work product, and then we'll have different visualizations to offer additional context. A filtered view of connected risk based on our keyword queries, highlights of RANE's perspective, and then focusing on data visualizations to support workflows, orientating you to, out of all the content that matches, what are the top related topics, top countries. If we scroll back up, significant developments, emerging signals, and so on. And then you'll have visibility into all of the content that matches those keyword queries. Note, because core intelligence is the building block, the foundational product, there is content that is written exclusively for our full access threat intelligence and geopolitical intelligence solutions. You will see some prompts to upgrade there. If that content or those features are useful to you, helping you do your job, please raise a hand. We'd love to learn more. You have the opportunity to have that discussion with your account manager. Going back to the home page, I also want to focus on our risk intelligence briefs. Top left of the home page, we elevate and give a clear pathway each day to the risk book. The risk book is pulling from that verified open source intelligence that RANE's own monitoring team is identifying and assessing to be critical each day. and you will see examples in the breadth of coverage, both across different risk categories, cyber, geopolitics as an example, but also the breadth in terms of geographic coverage. The intent of the risk book is to inform you, a busy business professional, what are the key issues that you should be aware of and not missing. However, and there are additional risk briefs, intelligence briefs that we are producing, some of which are focused on a theme: cyber, ESG, financial crimes, geopolitics, as an example. Others are organized by region. So, specific in this case, the Asia Risk Intelligence Brief, as an example. What are the key takeaways over the last week, the key issues that are taking place across all of those geographies that make up the region and within all of the four main risk categories of coverage? All of these briefs are available to you via the core intelligence solution. Note that some clients do have custom requirements. We do provide custom intelligence briefs. If you do have access to those, you would have the ability to view those here within the platform as well. If we go back to the home page, there's also the ability to explore by risk category. With the new unified navigation, you also have the ability to explore that coverage through the navigation as well. Each one of these category pages takes the same form. There's visibility into, based on our own proprietary risk categorization or taxonomy, the key topics that are being written about, in this case, looking at geopolitics. The default is the last week, but if you wanted additional context, you can change the time frame. You would see that arrows can fluctuate, see how the trending data over time based on our coverage by category and also topics. If we scroll further down, we also organize our content by use case. You have, via the core intelligence solution, full access to our open source intelligence. Again, that verified intelligence that we are curating, vetting, and confirming that it aligns with RANE's take on geopolitics, compliance, security, and cyber. The use case here is that situational awareness. What is happening? There is analysis across these different categories that you also have access to for why it matters. In this case, note again, there is some content that is written for our geopolitical and threat intelligence solutions that would be grayed out. But across compliance, across cyber, there's other analytical content each week that you do have access to. What is restricted in part of the core intelligence solution, although we do offer previews each quarter, is our forecast for that future outlook. And meanwhile, you do have full access to the events, the podcasts, the webcasts that we're producing each week. So whether we're looking at any one of these categories, you'll always see that that content is organized into these four use case buckets. Meanwhile, there's other ways to explore. I've mentioned verified open source intelligence, analysis, forecasts, and events. The risk tracker is a great place where all of that content comes together and gives us pathways to explore in multiple different forms. The heat map gives us the ability to explore based on key markets that our clients have expressed interest in, key topics that pertain to enterprise business risk, and also influenced by recent coverage. Whatever we click on here, using China and economics as an example, to the right, you'll see those changes, and it gives us a preview, a time series of our coverage over time, a preview of significant developments in recent coverage, and then there's deeper pathways to explore that full content. We can also explore based on a map. If you wanted to go country by country, again, you'd see the content in the right content panel change accordingly. And we've also served up the ability to explore by risk topics. I also wanted to elevate that regardless of how we've organized content, you can explore by keyword query. We have also recently integrated GICs, or the ability to explore by industry categories. The introduction of our industry categories is understanding that many of our users are looking at what's going on country by country or around the world, but as it pertains to their company, their industry. So the ability to further filter, shortcut to the content that's going to resonate most, ultimately impact your industry or your company. So that's a recent investment in workflow tools as well. If we go back to the new unified navigation, you continue to have access to the Global Composite Risk Index. This is where we will pull from trusted, verified sources around the world that offer different ways of measuring risk across a multitude of different enterprise risk categories. If we're using Brazil as an example, you'll see both a rank and a score broken down by category: safety, security, cyber, digital infrastructure, financial crime, down to rule of law, labor conflict, etc. We are very transparent with the sources that are being used for any one of these categories to lend to the veracity of our approach, the legitimacy of this data. The idea is that you can incorporate this into your own, say, quarterly benchmarking of country risk and countries in which you're already operating in, or to support your assessments of new markets, emerging markets that you may be considering as well. So to give credibility to the approach, again, we're very transparent so that you can incorporate that into your own work product. Anytime one of these ranks or scores changes, if it meets a certain threshold, you'll also see those changes roll up, whether the risk increases or decreases at the country level. You can see this in a map view, a list view. You can also export this data too. Going back to the navigation, we do serve up the ability to explore our events and media in a dedicated page. And a recent enhancement is the gallery. RANE is very well known for the creative that we produce internally, whether it's maps, charts, different types of graphics that supplement our analytical and forecasting work products throughout the week. The graphics that are really resonating with key risk areas, topics that are being talked about, we will serve those up. You have the ability to incorporate these into your own presentations, assessments, as well as it may be helpful. I also wanted to emphasize collaboration. For any one of the verified open source analysis that we are producing, you have the ability to share. You can share with your peers that are a part of the organization that has access to core intelligence. You can include customized prompts if you want to trigger an action. And as you have shared these, you'll see a running dialogue that you can contribute to. Meanwhile, if we go back to collaboration, this will give you a holistic view of all of the content that has been shared by you, with you, to serve as a running trail, an audit for visibility, and to re-engage with those that you may have shared content to spur on those action items. What is new is the ability to create preferences. There are different ways in which you can via access to core intelligence. And the first is through the briefs. We saw those briefs on the briefs page. As a reminder, this was the likes of the risk book, the Asia regional brief. You can customize which you want to receive to your inbox. You will have access to all through the platform, but understanding that you may want some as they are published. If there are certain themes, certain regions that are more relevant to the issues that you're focusing on each day, or just more critical based on the countries in which you're operating, you can get those as a supplemental email each day. In addition, you have the ability to create notifications. You can select which content types you want to be informed about, whether it's any one of those OSINT items. Note that there's about 100 to 200 per day. So if you're choosing to receive the day-to-day open source intelligence, I recommend you do so, in addition to some more refined subject preferences or country preferences. But meanwhile, if you said you just wanted to focus on the analysis or the forecast that RANE is producing, because by default, us publishing that analysis, these events are rising to a certain threshold where our analysts are saying this is important. It's warranting that context, it's giving those implications. But either way, across any one of these content types, you have the ability to further specify what you want to receive via email notification. And note that for any one of these categories, looking at safety and security, there's an additional tier of a taxonomy. There's more granularity that's offered where you could really focus in by the incident type. You also have the ability to choose which countries you may want to receive information on. So utilize the multitude of different opportunities, the combinations of notifications to further refine this experience beyond the platform as well. And on that front, we're also making investments into the mobile application experience. Within the first quarter of 2025, it'll be an improved mobile application where, in addition to the open source intelligence and briefs, you'll also have the ability to access the analysis and forecasts on the go through the mobile app as well. For any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your contact manager, or you can learn more at the following link.